Good morning. Good Saturday morning to you. We're just letting people in as we do. Good to see you all. I think I saw Greg come on. I'm going to check in and see if Greg would come on for a minute. Just maybe, Greg, to share while we're waiting for people to come in, a little bit about what some of the things we talked about at the board meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yesterday, I thought it'd be a real nice opportunity.
Yeah. So we all kind of have recognized, the amazing work that's being done locally by all of our medical personnel, and in particular, we were kind of focusing on Scripps Hospital right now, which is has treated over 700 COVID patients since last March. And because Carrie is, nurse practitioner there at Scripps, we've been able to get kind of some of the inside information on how difficult it's been for the for all of the medical staff there and the support staff during this time, and how difficult it is right now because we are actually at kind of at the peak, really, where it's been much higher than it was even last March and April. In terms of the number of patients that are coming in and the increase in that load that they've had. So we were trying to figure out what can we do, what are some of the things that we might be able to do that would, as a Sangha, to help, and obviously we can't go down there and start helping with the patients, but what can we do to try to let these staff and the medical people there understand that we're with them and we really understand the great sacrifice that they're going through right now. And so a couple of things. One, we're going to write we've got a letter written, we're going to be sending it out today to the mayor of the city, asking the mayor to put together a proclamation from both the mayor and the council, recognizing, the sacrifice that the medical staff are going through there, and letting them know that we're all so grateful and have such appreciation for what they're going through. So that's going out today from EMC, but also we've been trying to figure out what we could do directly. And so last night at our board meeting, we talked about the possibility of some way to get them some kind of food that's, first off, it's got to be safe, got to meet whatever the hospital says is going to be acceptable, and but that would actually help them out because they're working hours where they're not really even getting good nutrition. And so what we're thinking of right now, and Lisa is looking into this along with Carrie, is there a way that we could provide food to them through a restaurant here in town or locally? We did talk about food trucks, but I kind of been, looking at that and discussing it last night, I think we came to the conclusion that maybe that wouldn't work because it wouldn't work for the hospital because obviously they'd have to come out to the truck, but we think there might be a way. So we're going to look into that, and we'll keep you all advised. It would mean that what we would do is we would be actually providing those meals on some sort of a schedule. We have to look at it and see what we could do, but we would then go out to all of you and let you know where we are with this. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're up to here. All of us bodhisattvas here are working, trying to figure out a way to help our medical people. Thank you, Diana. Diana, you're muted.
Yes, I was saying one, thank you, Greg, for that inspiration, for the proclamation and for the direct offering. And I think both are important. One is acknowledgement, right, which is essential. We need to know where good is happening. We need to point to the good. We need to call it out as good. We need to call it in as good. And so that's one piece. And then the other piece is how do we nourish it, both in ourselves and in others. And I love the idea of a direct contribution. It's important to me that we also make that. And we will be counting on the Sangha as well in time. And maybe asking for donations for getting Healthy Creations meals, for other individually packed meals. We know it has to come a certain way for the healthcare staff to access that. But we're going to find the way. We're going to find the way because it's important to us all. We felt a lot of positive energy, as Pete noted yesterday, just in the possibility of generosity to these people, Carrie, Jim, Renee, and many others, of course, whose names we do not know, but who are right there contributing. So I want to thank everyone, both Carrie, Jim, Renee, Brenda, all those, Maureen herself as a nurse and the contributions she makes, and all those others, and then all of us who are essential workers as well as bodhisattvas, to support the good wherever we can and wherever we see it. So I want to thank you all. I'm looking here, Jim, you're saying pharma. I'm assuming that means the pharmaceutical companies deliver individual meals to Jim's office. That's delightful. I'd like to know how they're doing it, where they're doing that. I think it'd be good information for us to figure out how to make that happen. So if you could share some of that. Food drives, yes, with local restaurants. That's another thing we're investigating, Annika, is to see whether we can get individually wrapped somethings with food handlers, right? Because we know that that's licensed and might be safer, and figure out how to get that to the staff. We know for sure that they're looking for healthy foods. They are feeling like they're eating, of course, they're stressed, they're eating foods rapidly. We know, don't we, the science around that and the weight gain, even when you're running around for 16 hours a day. We know what happens. We know your cholesterol goes up. We know you get belly fat. We know you get in trouble, even when it looks like you're eating 3 candy bars all day and running 5,000 miles. So we want to help them be healthy. We're going to be talking today about how can we be healthy, mind and body, today, so that we can continue on this path together as contributors, and not just be in distress or in restlessness or in worry. These are not helpful, and there are antidotes to them, and we will be going over that more today. Thank you, Greg. I was thinking about any other news from yesterday. I think the other significant piece might be that we're going to be scheduling a 2-day outdoor retreat with Quest Haven. And we're looking at the 19th and the 20th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. There is no requirement to participate in both. You will be encouraged, invited, and supported to participate in both, because the more time we are in continuous practice, I know this very directly myself, the more time we are nourishing ourselves to be contributors and to be of benefit in our own families, to ourselves, and then into this world. So that's 19th and 20th. We're going to confirm that next week with Quest Haven, though they let me know those dates were available. We're being watchful of weather. So far, so good. Regarding the weather, March can be a gorgeous time there. So we're hopeful. We'll just keep everyone up to speed, but just put those dates aside for yourself. And then people have asked me, well, what if I can't do the whole thing? Do what you can. If you can come for a half a day, that's good. The whole day, that's good. A day and a half is good, and 2 days is good. So you know me. So you know I think all practice is of benefit. If you can come for 2 hours, I think that's useful. We'll see what the sign up is. We did a great job. I felt really successful in how we did the November program. We all felt safe. I thought it was gorgeous. We all needed it. It felt dramatically nourishing to be outdoors amongst those trees on that sacred ground. So I'm looking so forward to doing that again, I may actually go into a week-long retreat. I'm considering that myself sometime in February, which is my birthday month. And I was thinking about what would be the greatest gift that I could offer myself. And it may be a little time up there, which they are so gracious to extend. So thank you all. Yes, March 19th and 20th. That's what we're thinking about. Good. Thanks for helping me tack those dates down, Greg. So with that in mind, I can't think of anything other that's critical. I think we're all in. So I want to get started on practice. The only other thing I would say is that I want you to know that next Friday, the 22nd, I will be starting our winter mindfulness-based stress reduction course for donation only. You do not have to make a specific payment. It feels crazy to me to set a fee for that at this time. I'm not going to do that. If you want to take the course, if you want the refresher, if you've been practicing with us but never taken the course, I would highly recommend it to you. It's from 9:30 in the morning till 11:30 in the morning. And so, yes, I do know that for some people that can be compromising, but we will be taping as well. And so if that's not the best time for you, sign up anyway. You can go back later and review the tapes. That's one of the benefits of our Zoom is that it's there. And now it's captured a little bit for a moment so that you can participate. Let me know about that if you need any supports there. We will be starting Real Change. It's the only other thing I'm going to say for announcement. And if anybody needs the book, we have several people wanting to contribute to your getting at least the ebook. Please let me know. Otherwise, chapters 1 and 2, along with the introduction. I love the book. It's my aspiration for this year, which is to put into place the practice 24/7, 24/7. Whatever time on the cushion is invaluable. And how do we live it then every breath moment after? And I think it's a good time for us as a community to be investigating that. Yes, it is a great book. I'm really enjoying it. Yes, Real Happiness. I really like that one as well. Real Change, I would say, is essentially about how to embody compassionate action. How do we live it? This is what we just talked about, isn't it? Which is the proclamation, an important initiation, an important acknowledgement, an important recognition. And how do we live? Well, we're going to feed those folks. I don't know how yet, but importantly. So we'll see how it all unfolds. I have every confidence, by the way, that it will happen and be meaningful. So today we're going to be talking, I'd like to switch gears now a little bit. We're going to be talking about the 5 hindrances. There's a beautiful water metaphor. I'll be including it possibly in the meditation. We'll see how that goes. I want to make sure I'm recording. Thank you. They're lovely as considerations for how do we get stuck? Where do we get hooked? What is it that comes in to actually disrupt or disturb our mindfulness so that we can get contracted of heart and mind? We can get caught in this self-absorbing narrative. We can get fearful, we get worried, and then we just spin in that whirlpool that Joko used to call it, of self-preoccupation, self-cherishing, and looking addictive, looking for distractions, entertainment, and a way out. I've noticed some habits myself this week as I made new aspirations in the new year. One of them was a very simple one, as an example, called drinking more water. Drinking more water sounds super simple, doesn't it? I have up to 96 ounces a day I'm supposed to be drinking. Oh my God. I know what, I'm drowning. That's why the water metaphor, I guess, seemed particularly pertinent for me this week. I'm peeing way too much. I don't like that at all, though also grateful, right, for all of these ways the body works. and noticed this week how I began to slip back. 2.5 weeks, pretty good. I'm in there. I'm making the notes. I've got the journal. I'm clicking on my water amounts. I'm doing a good job. Last week, it begins to fall apart. One day, didn't hit the aspiration. The next day, I'm noticing I don't have my water container. The next day, and I'm watching the mind. This is the first work, recognizing that something is actually happening, that the hindrances are now alive and active in us. It was very useful for me. I actually made a decision to just watch, not just fix, not just change it, but actually pay attention. And I saw some really probably somewhat deep habits for putting my own needs aside in a way that is not skillful, not helpful or a benefit, and going to the phone call, going to the other person, the client, going to a family member, and replacing this essential nourishment for myself with busy, active, by the way, not necessarily not good, but not best first, not best first. And so we're going to look at that today and talk about those hindrances. Yeah, good goal. Thank you very much. The river of yellow is all I can say about that. I'm noticing how I'm not liking the reality of how much water I really need and how much I'm really not drinking. I'm noticing. Can we do this without judgments? So let's go back to the Bodhisattva prayer this morning. I'd love somebody to read this besides me. The Bodhisattva was called out by Greg in our talking about how to be a support to healthcare workers. It came to me yesterday again. It's something I want us to remember that is always one of our highest aspirations. And let's name that before the good, before we then look at what it obstructs, what hides the light that is actually there in this awakened heart. Is anybody there who would enjoy reading this? Would you like to come on?
Yeah, I don't mind reading. It's Dennis here.
Okay, Dennis, I love that you love to read. I would like to just make sure that other people who have not read first, but I'm always happy to let you do it, to see if there's anybody else who would enjoy that, because you really love to do that and have offered that to us many times. Thank you. As long as there isn't anybody else at hand.
Can I read it? Carrie.
Yes, Carrie would like to read it, Dennis, this time, but thank you so much always. And please continue to make that offering. Thank you.
The Bodhisattva Aspiration Prayer. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. We have much to gain now and nothing to lose, nothing at all. And the world, with you as a stable center, has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Thank you for letting me read that. I needed that.
And we needed to hear it from you, didn't we? Yes. May we allow those words from Carrie, that everyday Bodhisattva, may we allow it to penetrate beyond our self-clinging, beyond our fearing, beyond our worry, beyond our concern for self, to include the aspiration to be in this life, in this world, and in this present moment. For what reason? To be of benefit, to take all the suffering, all the sorrow, and use it as nutriment towards the good. May we offer this practice today and every day, by action, word, deed, to the end of suffering for all beings everywhere, without exception, omitting none, awakening us, right through the doorway of sorrow, awakening us. And in our response, freeing us all. And as we sit, I notice a tear in my own eye as I heard Carrie read that essential prayer, that essential prayer. Let it touch your own heart. That prayer that says, may I find the way, this present moment, to be of the greatest benefit. And we remember our own aspirations. We must call them to mind. This is a natural ethic for this practice. We must call the good to mind. We must let it settle into our own good hearts. The way I most remember is to call to mind those things I love, those things I truly care about, those things I am willing to commit time, energy, resource, money, food, where my dana naturally flows. Reflect on those things. Let it ignite your heart. It is often through the doorway of suffering and our naturally compassionate, kind, caring response that leads us on the Bodhisattva path. We do not turn away from the truth of despair or sorrow. We hold it. And we begin with our own heart minds. And we begin first always by stabilizing that stable center that Carrie read about. We must be this first to be able to hold the worldly winds. And so we come home and into our own bodies, bringing that radiant good heart and its friendliness with us. We come into the body and we anchor there somewhere where we can feel this sense of stability. Always available in this present moment. I always naturally gravitate towards my own feet, the truth of the stability of the earth, simply here with my own feet resting upon that stable ground. And we can move up the body from that sense and source of stability up to the legs and the hips. And I use that stable base as a place to begin to settle. And let the whole of the upper body begin to relax, soften, and settle into the seat you've taken on this stabilizing ground. With each out breath, we begin to put down the narrative of self, dropping into the direct experience of this present moment. As known by this body, sitting. We do not turn away from the pain or sorrow of the world, but we do put down the suffering of the self-clinging self. Life's too hard, it's too much. What else could possibly happen? There's too much pain, illness, violence, greed, hatred. Except once we accommodate and attend to our own minds, we are free and can then free others. And so we sit still, silent, and spacious, just like this. The first antidote to all suffering. And as we are practicing settling the mind in the direct experience of this life, this moment, this breath, we notice, I believe here, the first hindrance really appears vividly for me, which is the mind seeking sense desire, seeking comfort, pleasure, shiny objects, list making, old habits for reflecting on past and future moments, right? These sense desires, get me out of here, get me to something more pleasant. And so the mind darts around looking, doesn't it? Can you see that energy there? That you recognize it as actually the first call of the Buddha. Not that we change it, not that we see it as bad, and not that we do any kind of fixing, but first, can we recognize the nature of that habit mind to want something pleasant? Just notice this as you come back again and again to the direct experience of your own body and breath. See where the mind goes. No matter where the mind goes, there is one essential instruction, and that is to recognize that the mind has wandered. And like a lost child, a most beloved and precious child, invited home. And we may notice the restlessness of this child, a little squirmy, a little jumpy, a little distracted, running here and there. And again, as the most beloved parent, we simply create space and room and warmth. And with a gentleness, friendliness, invite that mind, that restless mind, that craving mind back home. And we settle back. One of the antidotes to the restless mind is to create a still and silent space in which it can rest. We don't squeeze it, we don't tie it up, we don't lock it in a small claustrophobic space. We create stillness and silence, and then more, and then again. And we notice the nature of this restless mind, running off to the past, running off to the future, running off to the old, falsely believed narratives, and we smile. We simply know restless mind, sense craving mind, and we invite it home again. It is useful to invite one source, one point to restless mind so it can learn the way home also. And so rather than coming into different parts of the body, rather than changing objects for concentration and calm abiding, we pick the one spot, the anapanya. This could be somewhere deep in the belly, the chest, the nostril, wherever you can offer an anchor and a refuge to this fretful, restless mind, this craving mind. can I take the exquisite risk of being fully present right here to my own breath, offering this as an antidote to this craving, seeking monkey mind. Can we feel the sense of greater stability, greater home base and refuge, a calm, an ease, a steadfastness and stability? These are the antidotes to that seeking, craving, hungry, thirsty mind. Could we imagine looking out at a still forest pond and the surface of that pond reflecting perfectly the sky, the open, spacious sky? This is the nature of our own heart mind. Still, silent, open, spacious, reflective, mirror-like. And one of the metaphors is such that when a bird crosses across the sky and is reflected in the pond, it does not disturb, perturb, distort the pure reflective capacity of the pond at all. We simply let the bird appear in the sky, be known, and pass away, just like clouds, just like weather. No disturbance to that still forest pond. This is the nature of all thoughts. One of the other hindrances or obstructions to our continuous mindfulness, our continuous presence, our continuous clear seeing, open heartedness, and joyful, disciplined effort is not only this restlessness, but ill will, the not wanting, not liking nature of mind. The mind of ill will, aggression, hatred, and aversion. And this mind is often metaphorically seen as a frost up or boiling pond. So much movement, so much energy that we cannot see clearly through the reflective capacity of the pond at all. Distressed, disturbed, as if a motorboat had gone flying by again and again. Lots of activity, lots of energy, maybe even lots of distress, but no clear seeing available. You can feel the heat of that boiling water. You can feel the disruption of those bubbles, that froth. See if you can make contact with that within yourself. Those things that churn you up. The things I don't like, I don't want. And see if you can sense how they obstruct rather than contribute to our mindful awareness, to our loving presence, to our stable, wide open, spacious heart mind. You might reflect on something this week that to which you reacted in a way that invited this hindrance of ill will, aversion, aggression, frothed up and contracted energy. You might call something to mind that really got you going. And see if rather than fall into the narrative once again, if we can invite the pond to grow larger, big enough that it begins to still the boiling waters. We invite a cool, calm, abiding space in which that boiling water simply begins to neutralize. We don't contract around it. The pond grows bigger and bigger. And more still. As we invite with friendliness, with loving kindness, with gratitude, appreciation, with care, we don't get rid of the boiling water. We simply add to it. We get bigger, invite more space. This is the practice of loving kindness. We keep creating a larger, bigger, more open, more calm heart mind. The metta practice is right here. Can you feel the pacifying effect of that open, wide, friendly space, creating big arms, big space, big room for that contraction, that hot energy, that boiling water? You've watched this yourself as you've poured other water into hot water to neutralize it. That other water is your own loving heart. We might see if there are a set of unpleasant thoughts that feed this bubbling, boiling, hot water, this water of aversion, ill will, anger. I often notice believe thoughts like this should not be happening. This is wrong or bad. I notice strong judgments, natural contractions happening with that. I notice if I don't stop this now, it's going to get worse, which invites a call to aggressive action. See if you can pick up anything that you notice as you're holding this hot water, this bubbling, boiling energy. Notice what feeds it. And remember, we can always come back. If the insights are not there, if the arising thoughts are not present, we can simply come back into that still pond. Make it bigger, more, larger, holding that movement, that heat. This is a major cause of suffering. We not only cultivate that boiling hot water, we feed it with hotter water, with core belief thoughts, wrong, bad, shouldn't be happening. I need to become aggressive to in response, which unfortunately is never true. It's always a reaction and adds to the heat. So now we're burning ourselves up. You're the only one that can feel that boiling water. But we can hold it in that large container of stillness and silence. With the cool mist of loving kindness. And let's sit back, resting in that still force pond for a moment. Let's get stable once again, letting go of all thoughts of aversion, of anger, letting that boiling water temper. And as we do so, as we're reflecting back on the stillness, the reflective capacity, the mind that holds the vastness of the sky with the stability of the earth, see if you notice then this, make contact with the hindrance of sloth and torpor. This has a kind of fatigue, a weariness, I don't care anymore, a turning away. See if you can make contact with this hindrance in your life where it shows itself. It's imagined as an algae, a covering of muck or a muddiness coming into the pond and really making it difficult to move. There is no free flow. There is no natural energy. It's taking us under. It's dark. It's again, they call it algae filled. The stagnancy might be a way to think of this, of that naturally flowing water that creates dukkha. Like, what's the point? This is too hard. There's no way through. It's heavy and drowns us, really, pulls us under. See if you can connect with that physical felt sense. I'm really making contact with that. Kind of, what am I doing? Just, I don't have it for this. See where that you feel that in your own body. As I'm talking about this, I feel a real weariness in my arms, which I'm finding very interesting, particularly my upper arms. Like I can't hold this anymore. And the weight of it is pulling me under. This is a dangerous hindrance. It does not allow the truth of the freshness of each moment, the vitality and energy present every breath. It's gunky, dark, algae filled. See if you can feel that. What's the point of the practice? Why bother? And it's an energetic sense. Could look like a sleepiness, a dullness, not the energy to get to the practice. No energy to stay present, to attend to what's here now. Like, just get me under the covers. I just want to go to sleep. Like somebody holding your head underwater. Look for those too much, too hard belief thoughts that feed this algae-filled pond of your own heart mind. We're going to see if we can recognize the thoughts simply as objects of mind, not truths. They are falsely believed thoughts, different than our need for rest, these suck the mind down first. And then we're going to clear that pond by reestablishing our shamatha, our calm abiding, letting the algae fall away from that clear seeing light, that sun, that fresh air, the freshness of the present moment. Come back to the breath, back to the body, letting that algae simply dissolve away. Settling back, stabilizing in the breath. And then the next quality of mind that can interfere with our mindfulness, our good, clear seeing, open-hearted attention is restlessness and worry. Different than sense pleasure, where we're seeking something else, craving, greedy. Restlessness and worry is like a whirlpool. It spins around and around. It is captivated by itself, and it is frequently looped around thoughts about the future. What will come? What will be? And we leave the present moment, vaulting ourselves off into the future. This is what a lot of news recently is doing. Anticipation of violence, anticipation of a problem, anticipation of how bad it's going to be, how much worse it's going to get. It really vaults us right off of the resting in that clear forest pond of the present moment into the, right out of the water, literally into steering off into the forest. Where's the danger? Where's the problem? Where's the difficulty? Every sound pulls us away. Every movement becomes focus for what is the difficulty coming now. And so see if you can't feel that sense of I can't rest at all because the mind is in a whirlpool, sucking me under with all of these believed thoughts about the future, mostly fears. Mostly fears, can't get it right. No matter what I do, it's going to go bad. Kinds of thoughts might feed that. How can I stay stable, safe, grounded there in the future? We already know the answer. There's no way. We are stable only here and now. And so we invite ourselves back again and again into the still, quiet, reflective, stable time of the present moment. We notice this often as contractions in the body, disembodied, dissociated, disconnected, and whirling mind. Repetitive thoughts about what next, what now, what next. See if we can recognize this quality when it arises, and see if we can't, in the recognition itself, move into the more stable, quiet, and calm part of the pond. Remember that part that we added to the boiling water. Come back to the still point. One of the things that I used regularly was dropping beneath that whirlpooling surface, deeper and deeper. Beneath that whirling water, into the quiet. We draw the breath down into the body and then anchor it deeply. You can see the world above you, but you are not caught in its wake. You drop down beneath, into the quiet, into the stillness. Redirecting the mind again and again back to the present moment. Where we can feel that tranquility, that gentle sway of the breath in the present moment. Dropping deeper. Quiet. And then there is the last hindrance. It's one I think is very challenging to connect with, to make contact. And it is doubt. And doubt has no water. It's dried up, brittle. There is no nourishment. There is no moisture. It's like the pond completely disappears and all that's left is the dry, cracked earth. Leave thoughts, no energy for the practice, no energy for life, no nutriment whatsoever. We're trapped in the desert of doubt. We abandon ourselves, we abandon the practice, we abandon others. And this is the essence of what's the point to this all with the belief thought, there is none. This doesn't matter, it doesn't work, there is no way. There's nowhere to look, there's no moisture anywhere. We are dying of thirst. And there's a belief thought, nothing can quench this. See if you can recollect a moment when you have been trapped, caught in the desert of doubt. Doubt of the truth of the teachings, doubt of the Dharma, doubt of the Sangha, what's the point? Doubt, I think the most dangerous doubt is the doubt of our own capacities to awaken. We can feel the dryness, the brittleness, the breakability, can't you, of this dried up well. Nothing to offer, nothing to get. And one of the natural antidotes to this desert is to simply sit, recognizing that this is a quality of mind, not the truth of the weather. That we simply sit, acknowledging doubt as doubt, and wait for the rains to come. Wait for the felt sense of moisture. We continue the practice and see that in fact it was never the truth, but only a mirage. There was never a desert at all. The still forest pond is always available. The rains come and there is water beneath us. The mirage of the desert, looking like there's nothing, when in fact it's all right here. And then we let that fine mist, that gentle rain, the view of the still forest pond, the resting in the depths, in that still quiet of the waters of the whole of the world. We let them nourish us. we begin to see once again the sources of goodness, the sources of nutriment, the water that is always right here. We just have to reach out and drop in. And as we do, the pond begins to fill, filling with the goodness of your own being, the goodness of others, the truth of the natural nutriments available all around. As we come to rest once again in that still forest pond, always here, always available, holding us. You could imagine yourself sitting at the bank of the pond. You could imagine yourself in its warmth, immersed, feeling that pond holding you. See what image comes to mind. Let it translate all the way down into your own body, being, memory. I always imagine a warm bath, feeling held and contained, feeling stabilized and purified right there. And then we remember that through all these qualities of weather, the weather of the mind, there is always that which holds it. That vast, wide, open space of mindful awareness, of mindfulness, of presence, of boundless heartedness, always here, in which we can come home and rest. And may this practice be of benefit. Take a moment and wriggle, unwind yourself. the water metaphors, of course, were coming to me because I was thinking about my own water drinking and noticing what was getting in the way. Lots of distraction, lots of thinking. I got to do this first, and I got to do that first, and then I added, and then that. There was a lot of craving. I would say it was more the seeking the sense of being of benefit can become a spiritual bypass as well, especially when we are not sufficiently stable ourselves. And I certainly have to say I didn't find myself on the far end of that, but just noticing the little slip was so valuable to me to look at, what was I doing that I had stopped my commitment to myself and the goodness of that. And again, I'm grateful for the practice of recognizing the hindrances so that we can, with mindfulness, with friendliness, with compassion and kindness, begin to look at what gets in the way. And I thought we would talk about that a little bit today. Like, what do we notice in these 5 hindrances happens to get in our own way? Which part of the water metaphor did you make contact with? Which did you notice? Wow, I could really feel the energy of that boiling water of anger, rage, or ill will. I could really feel the sloth and torpor of that algae-filled pond. I could really feel the dry, brittle sands of the desert, the dried up well, the dried up pond. And so I'd love to talk with you about this some more. Most of our senior folks who've been with us for a while do know about the 5 hindrances. We've practiced that in the Satipatthana Suttas when we studied them, but I haven't reviewed them in a while. And I thought today, because I'm noticing that we're all getting a little hooked, if not a lot, by some of those hindrances, and the teachings, and the Buddha says himself, notice, recognize the hindrances when they appear. By virtue of their recognition alone, you will be set free, and then we can make a choice to abandon that mind, not overcome it. It's actually not the word used, abandon. We can choose not to continue down that mind path and actually choose an antidote. And I tried to offer you the antidotes when I could make contact with them myself. Yes, waves. Yes, the wave, hopefully, of friendliness, the welcoming wave of right contact or holding, that wave of light. It might be a wave of right genuine care. It could be a wave of whatever. But if it feels like it's holding you, soothing you, making some offering, that could be an antidote by itself. Remember, we said that one of the first antidotes is recognition. And then the second antidote is making an offer. And metta, loving kindness, and compassion are understood to be 2 essential offerings. So maybe the wave of loving kindness and metta. Yes, Liz says, lovely sitting. Thank you, Liz. We're going to be talking about that offering soon today. I know you need to leave, so thank you. We'll make sure to cover that topic of the gentle yoga today. Doubt was enlightening. Leanne, why don't you come on and tell me about that? Doubt is something we often escape or miss.
Well, I thought that was the last one, and I'd almost thought I'm going to bug out early. I'm going to leave. The practice is going on. I started to feel a little restless, and then the whole doubt, kind of, I thought was interesting. So yeah, so I explored that a little bit, because at the beginning of a conversation, we were talking about the meals, and we were talking about Carrie and healthcare workers. And I almost realized that from, I went back and you said, well, when have you felt the doubt, or when have you recognized it? And I thought, wow, at the beginning of this practice, I thought, well, what good's one meal going to do? Like what's my meal? I mean, how on earth can we feed all the healthcare workers? And then just during the practice, I started to feel a little bit about compassion around Carrie. And then I just realized that doubt stops me sometimes from just doing one small thing. And I thought, wow, that's weird. And I really, it was enlightening. I thought, wow, okay, well, my little meal, if I could just do one meal, like, because sometimes I don't even do anything. Like, I mean, I work, I've worked in nonprofit space for my whole life. And sometimes I don't do anything right in front of me because I feel like it's just not going to be enough.
Yes.
So I thought that doubt was like, it was really powerful for me. And Carrie sharing what she did was powerful because anyway, I thought that was enlightening and something I'm really going to think about.
Yeah, keep watching for it, Leanne. That's the instruction. Watch for how doubt sucks us dry. Just like you said, sucks us dry. What's enough? What could I possibly do? You're saying it beautifully. That's the mind of doubt.
It's like, well, so I won't do anything. Like I won't,
right.
Like I've sat there and I went, how on earth are we going to fucking do that?
What's the point of one?
That's dumb. That's
what
stupid.
A waste of time.
And then so that was powerful for me.
Is it true?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, because I then pictured that one, and it really got me when Carrie said that, because I don't think about it. I don't think about it every day when people in our healthcare who are working in healthcare have to watch people dying and they can't do anything about it.
That's right.
That's hard. And a little meal could make somebody's day, something healthy that they couldn't make themselves. And
yep.
I don't know, it got me. That was, and I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I hung on because I get restless on these long sessions.
I'm glad you did too. And the other thing I want you to bring to awareness, you've already named it, is restlessness. Restless mind is often one of the first hindrances to the others. Distracted monkey, restless mind. The minute it gets in there, our mindfulness gets broken up, that still forest pond starts to wobble and wiggle. And now we can't see clearly to begin with. And then we can get sucked in by the other habits. And that's exactly right. And you noticed it, like getting a little wiggly. And now I'm like, I just want to.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my dad's 91st birthday. Got to get the ribs in, got to go do errands, got to do the list.
Yep.
So I'm glad I hung on because wow,
I'm glad you did as well. Thank you so much. What you offered was also completely delightful. And if you need to go attend to things now, just do so really mindfully because you're making a beautiful offering on it. Sounds like a beautiful day.
Well, I look forward to giving together as a Sangha. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Doubt enters my soul, Dennis says, before I go to courts, and each time doubt vanishes when I see another living being. Yes, when we see the truth, right? When we see the aliveness of being present, when we see that in the children you work with, when we see that in maybe even the joy of your own mind, body, and movement, right? Your tennis playing or remembering on the tennis court that there is life. It is in its flow. It is not in its dried up or collapsed and yes, when we lose contact, when we get into the desert, I think of doubt, I think we have to, that's where the recognition really has to serve us because most of us miss it as doubt. We just go into not enough, can't do it, it's too hard. What's one salad, as Leanne said, what's one lesson gonna do to fix all these kids with all the, right? It's not accurate. And in fact, what do we know is the truth? It is the one act. It is the one act that nourishes enough to get to two, isn't it? The one move, the one action, the one caring thought, the one moment of recognition that leads us to the next. So there is no such thing as not enough. There is only towards that which is a benefit or that which is away from it. And the Buddha says so too. Notice, does this feed the energies of goodness, of kindness, of compassionate action, or does it drag us away into the desert? I've got a lot of people writing, yay, thank you. Let me go look up here and see what we've got. Next to my pond, I envisioned an old tattered little sign that said Ryan's Pond. Beautiful. I love that, Ryan. It is your pond. It is your mind. It is your heart. And it is mine. And it is also mine. I know those factors. I know those winds. I know that desert. I know that boiling water. I know the algae filled, mucky, drowning of the muck. And I know the freedom. And I know the freedom of recognizing that and then being able to respond with those antidotes. Yes, beautiful, Dennis. Anything that we do as a care moment is nourishing. It's always true. That one salad, by the way, when we get to that, and we're going to, I want everybody to feel how that one meal changes everything. And I want us to feel the effects through Carrie and others of what it feels like to be recognized, remembered, seen, and nourished. One time, and all the difference it actually makes. And we all do this. If I can't run 5 miles, why start at all? Yeah, this is our seeking, craving, gotta be perfect, gotta be great. It's gotta be big habit mind. That one that collapses us. And they're all collapsing. They will all collapse us, by the way. So I want us to know that. I think I see something here from Lisa. Dropping down below the turgid surface of that hot surface allows one to see the clear space. Yes, it is habit to flight at the surface versus rest and drop down. Didn't you notice that? I did that one on purpose for that reason. Did anybody notice you were looking for a spot up there and you couldn't find one? Yes, you did. Like, where is it not boiling? The whole thing's boiling. The whole thing's moving. The whole thing is, there's no shore. There's no place to go. I'm in this pool burning up, or I'm in this pool getting turned around, dropping down. Didn't you all notice? I did too. I was like, uh-oh, there's no space up here. Where am I going to go up here?
Yeah, you know what?
Sure. Go ahead,
when
Lisa.
when I said that, it was funny. I immediately flashed on a sort of group interaction that had happened last week, and that's exactly what was going on. It was a lot of people all fighting in the turgid water, and it just came to me that if it's the same thing as the one salad. If I'm the only one that drops down and has that little piece of clarity, that could be a good thing, because it's so habit to be one of the crowd of fighting up there in the struggle. And the other thing that came up for me, and that was, I thought of all those people that had sort of been the other in that moment. And I had a moment of compassion just for all of us. That's right. And I have a whole different idea of, I want to go back to that conversation. I actually want to invite the conversation. I thought, this is really interesting. I want to invite that conversation, and wondering, a little bit of doubt coming in, but could I somehow help that conversation be different this time?
I don't have any doubt about that.
So.
And I don't know what you'll say, and it won't actually matter.
Yeah.
And I want you to be careful about that. It isn't the words, it's the heart and its intention that leads. I don't know what you'll say. I've given up that, by the way, and it's been freeing for me to give up. How do I say it? What do I say? What's the word order? Which noun comes first? Then what verb? And what do I magically, elegantly, profoundly say that's going to change everything? I haven't ever found that, by the way. Nothing that's going to come out of the mouth is going to matter before it touches the heart. Let that matter. And then I promise you, whatever comes out of the mouth will be the right thing. And maybe nothing, or just, I care about this. Yeah. Right? Or I care about this. I know we're already out of time. We did an extra long practice. I wanted to do that one on purpose because I want us to be paying attention for these habits of mind, noticing where we're getting caught, and see if you can't use the metaphor of the still forest pond as an essence. Can you drop into the body, feel what's actually going? Is it frothed up? Is it all caught up? Is it being twirled around? Is it hot, gripped, boiling? Is it algae filled, or are you sitting in the desert? Nothing anywhere all around, and see what we can begin to offer ourselves as the true antidote. The Buddha himself says, recognizing the hindrance is the beginning of its end. Recognizing suffering is the beginning of its end, because then we see the causes and conditions called qualities of heart-mind, qualities of heart-mind that we're holding that are actually feeding, fueling that, and we alone can abandon that, choose a different course, make a different decision, choose to change the channel of the mind at any time, including at the minimum, kindness towards oneself for the truth of suffering in this moment, and see the way clear. So yes, yeah, Carrie, I carry a card with the hindrances too. I just have them in my mind. I don't have them in my pocket. They're plenty playing, list making right there. And then you did this and then you did that. It's how to do that with that first call of the Buddha, which is recognition that a hindrance is at play. How do I look? The minute I'm in suffering, I know a hindrance or more is active. And then I begin the inquiry. What's here? The belief thought it can't be enough. The belief thought it doesn't matter. The belief thought I'm too busy. The belief thought that drinking water isn't going to fix anything. That, right? I begin to look for the hindrances as thoughts, and also the quality of body that pond offers us. What's happening in my own body? Restlessness, sleepiness, right? What's alive and active there? Thank you. I'd love to see that card. I think we probably need to make a copy of that and give that to everyone. I love the idea. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Monday night. If you choose 7:30 practice, we will be starting Real Change Tuesday at 7, Thursday practice with Greg. The thing I promised I'd say is that we're considering a gentle movement practice with a 40-minute gentle movement with Liz, with a 20-minute meditation with me sometime on Thursday. If you have any feedback about where that could work for you, which part of the day, would it be 7 in the morning, 7:30? Would it be 5:15 in the afternoon? We're guessing it'd be one side of the day. Would you let me know about that? And we'll put something in the newsletter about that too. And if you know anybody who might want to join the mindfulness course next Friday, the 22nd at 9:30 in the morning, also please let them know to go to everydaymind.com website to sign up. And Carrie, Jim, Renee, and all those healthcare workers who have contributed so much. I don't know how to fully extend what I know about how you have given of yourselves so completely to us and to our well-being. And I want to offer a deep bow to all of those healthcare workers and to all of us who are grateful, appreciative, and want to contribute. May we all be happy. May we all be safe, and may we all be well. Blessings to all of you. And a deep bow in honor of all of that. Thank you so much for joining, for hanging out with me for a few extra minutes this morning. Thank you for letting me know about the time that you might be able to participate in a Thursday gentle movement and meditation. 5:15 is my personal preference because I get up every morning to meditate already, but we do have that 7 a.m. time as a possibility also. So please let me know. If not now, when you get the newsletter, I'll put a little sign up there. Click on that. Have a wonderful weekend. I think it's supposed to be gorgeous weather out there. I hope that you can get outside and enjoy some time in that open space, remembering that that is also the quality of your own heart mind. All right, everyone, be well. Blessings to you all. It's good to see you this morning, and most important, to practice with you. Take good care, everyone.